Good morning to everyone on Radio Libre Expression. So today we have the privilege to have as a guest Mohammed Boogie. He's from Lahore in Pakistan. So Mohammed, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. It's an honor to be with you. I'm so glad that finally we could make this program together.
I'm very glad, Mohammed, to have you online today. So Mohammed, tell us please about you people, Kalash, where they come from.
First of all, Kalash, nobody knows the origins of Kalash. Lot of French people have done research and they have written books on Kalash. And one of them also I met in 1980 and then in 1989. I had lot of friends from Alliance Française in Karachi, Pakistan.
Yes, Alliance Française, yes.
My librarian friend, his name was Christophe Khan Pani.
Oh, great.
He is from the royal family of Bengal.
Oh, that's very interesting, Mohammed.
Yes, he helped me a lot. He helped me go through all the material which was written about Kalash. And then I started compiling notes and I started doing art workshops. And in 1980, I went to Kalash myself. And I came back and I gave my first lecture in Alliance Française, Karachi. And then in Lahore, then in Islamabad. And then I started traveling and I had my first exhibition in Alliance Française, Hong Kong. So I'm very familiar with the French identity of art and especially the contribution French people did on art.
Oh, very nice.
Unfortunately, yes. But unfortunately, since the atomic explosions in the areas of Tahiti, French Guyana, I stopped actively participating with the French because I did not agree to hurt the ozone layer and things like that. But now you're always welcome because the French contribution to history of art, literature, and wonderful contribution France has done for the development of mankind. So I'm glad to be back on a French radio again after a lapse of many, many years.
Oh, that's very nice, Mohammed. And tell us more about Kalash people. Are they Muslim? Are they live their faith very freely in Pakistan? Where exactly live the Kalash people? In which area?
Kalash live in northwest frontier province bordering Afghanistan. There is a small little area called Kafiristan in olden days, written by Persian writers. This area in the 326 before Christ was visited by the Alexander's army. So there are a lot of things which people consider as a resemblance to the Greek culture.
Amazing.
The Greek are very fascinated by Kalash. But up to where my research is concerned, there is no contribution of Greek because Kalash lived before Greeks 3,000 to 5,000 years before Alexander came to these areas. So nobody knows the origins of Kalash.
Very interesting because Alexander the Great came in this place where the Kalash live, and so today they have some kind of little bit Greek culture, right?
Yes.
Very, very nice. And what about their faith? I was asking you, Mohammed, if they live freely, their faith, and what religion they have. They have a particular religion or they are Muslims?
No, they are not Muslims. Because the religion what they have is pagan religion, which is predating Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, as well as Buddhism.
Wow.
It's a miracle how this culture survived with 4 major religions all around it and people invading them and abducting their women for a very long period. And Kalash, as far as beauty is concerned, they were always presented as slaves to the imperial armies and imperial courts of most of the Persian and the Greek empires. And the wine was traded all the way from the areas of Kafiristan to the Greek and the Romans as well as the Persian courts in exchange of the Silk Route, because Silk Route was a very prominent thing and the area for pleasure was Kafiristan. before going into the Gobi Desert. This is the long route of Kafiristan, and it has been acknowledged, remembered, as well as quoted by most of the historians, including the Greek philosophers of that time.
Very interesting, honestly, Muhammad, because it's remind me a little bit like, tell me if I'm wrong, like Zoroastrians from Iran. You know, it's a very old religion, 5,000 years old religion, and the worship, you know, the fire. They believe in one supreme being. It's a little bit like that, or it's completely different?
It is a little bit like that, but the major part of the religion which Kalash has, if you go and live among Kalash, then slowly the time freezes out and you go to 5,000 years. They have little bit of fire worshipping because fire is purity for Kalash. They don't worship fire like the Zoroastrians did, but they purify themselves with the help of fire. And also in the time of when ladies have their monthly cycle, they are asked to go and live in a small little house away from the settlement. It is called Pasha Lady. And there the children are born, and the girls who are reaching puberty, they go and live there for some time. So these are early pagan traditions, later on adopted by Christianity, Zoroastrianism, as well as Judaism. So it is all a continuation of religion. But Kalash was handicapped because most of their books were burnt in the areas of Nuristan in 1890 when the Amir of Afghanistan converted them into Islam. So he burnt everything. There was not a single trace left of any documentation. It is only thank you to the royal family of Chitral that Kalash has survived for the last 400 years. Otherwise, they would have vanished from the face of the earth, and we would only see them in the books and anthropological studies. But today, 5,000 Kalash live and practice their own religion, and they are protected by the law of Pakistan, which is called Law for Minorities in our constitution, that forbids forced religion conversion. But during the time of Afghan war, unfortunately, they were used as guides, but no compensation was paid to the Kalash. That they helped to break the bone of USSR, and no compensation, no development. So polio is still there. That's a very big problem because it is remote areas of Pakistan. And I hope that people like Médecins Frontières and other organizations will go into that area and do polio vaccination. That will help a lot. And I'm very upbeat because with the help of your program, I'm sure I will bring international communities to pay attention towards United Nations decennium, which will last till 2014, to come and help Kalash a little bit.
Oh yes, I hope very much that, like you say, United Nations and other country, even people who have the possibility to go there, help and do something. And it was too bad that they burned those books a few hundred years ago. It was like people who burned in Alexandria, in Egypt, you know, the great library, and with all these very, very interesting documents, you know, from Greek people like Democritus and so many others like this, you know, from other countries, and it's too bad, you know, too bad. But they never found, you know, other books that people hide somewhere, like they never found some book in archaeology. I'm talking about some.
Most of them came out as folk stories because Kalash were not allowed to have a written script. So the only thing they could do was tell stories in their song. So Louis Vivian and Joab, a writer from France, he compiled a book in 1970s. Kalash Revisited. And then lots and lots of anthropological studies came up with the Cultural Conference of the Hindu Kush 3 times. So all these things are documented. Most of them are with the archaeological studies in the University of Heidelberg, Germany. So anybody wanting to research more can check on University of Heidelberg, Professor Karl Jetmar. He was the competitor who did a lot of good research on Kalash studies. And the other thing I want to point out is the best book ever written about Kalash is Kafirs of the Hindu Kush by Robertson. He was a British viceroy. He was based in Chitral, Pakistan, and he wrote about these tribes which were living in the Nuristani area. And in 1890, after conversion, he was the first man to give first-hand information. After that, the area was forbidden for outsiders.
Oh yes, that's a very interesting. People want to buy this book to know more, like you say, about Kalash. And tell us, because you say, Mohammed, how many thousands of Kalash people they live right now in the north of Pakistan?
Only 5,000.
Only? This is very strange. I mean, it's very amazing. And I'm sure most of Kalash, they live in other continent, of course, in Europe, like you, for example, in Holland. And how many Kalash live outside this Kalash area of Pakistan? Do you have an idea, maybe, Mohammed?
Very few, because few students are coming now to Greece to study there.
Yes.
But due to economic situations of Greece, there are not many requests. Only 4 students are studying in Greece at the moment.
Just very strange, amazing. Because
first, earlier, after the research of French anthropologists, there were one gentleman from America and one lady from Australia. They tried to put an